if you have that plan within the system to build up that resource or that talent from the existing people, that is where we call it as strategic HR.
Hello, good evening everyone, and welcome to the new episode of Bubble Chat at Morepen Season 2. I am Anju Singh along with Anju Singh, DGM HR. She wears many hats. She is a strategic HR, techno HR, NLP expert, psychometric expert, and above all, she is an artist. She paints with passion, for which she has received many awards at various platforms. Thank you for joining us, ma'am, and welcome to Bubble Chat at Season 2.
Thank you, Poonam. Thank you for the wonderful intro.
In your brief, you have mentioned the word strategic HR. I want to know what is the difference between strategic HR and a normal HR.
Normally, HR is being considered as, conventionally it is being considered as a service department. And when we say service department, it is expected that you give the right number of people, right quality of people, you maintain all the compliances, do the routine performance monitoring, and make sure that the payroll and the welfare's administration is as per the requirement. When I say strategic HR, I mean to say when you start partnering the business. Partnering business means all the activities which are being considered as an HR activity or an admin activity, if that starts aligning with the business vision directly. If you say that you need a certain talent in the organization, one way is getting it recruited from outside, lateral hiring. That is in conventional HR. Whereas if you have that plan within the system to build up that resource or that talent from the existing people, that is where we call it as strategic HR. So that is a small difference between HR and the strategic HR.
What do you mean by future? Like 5 years, 10 years, 15 years?
Future is even tomorrow.
Yeah.
Anything which we don't know what tomorrow holds for us is a future. Okay, so future readiness means when we say that I am ready for the future. Do you remember the COVID period?
Yeah, sure. I think everybody knows that.
So were we really ready for that scene?
No, not at all. That was a big surprise for everyone.
Correct, but this can happen anytime.
Yes.
Okay. And it's not just readiness for any kind of emergency or any kind of something which is not so normal, but it is also for the competition, it is also for the market, the product mix, the advanced technology, everything. Okay, where you need to be ready. And when I say ready, it's not just the building or the machines or the technology, but even the talent, because all these things are to be executed or conducted or run by the people.
Exactly.
So future readiness for that matter is very important.
Ma'am, Morepen has launched operational excellence this year, and that was a very proud moment for all of us.
Correct.
So what do you think is the role of HR in implementing operational excellence in the company?
Operational excellence, when we say, it's normally considered, or when you sound about operational excellence, it is more relating to the operations as such by word, and so-called manufacturing or quality of the product and all those things. But when we talk about operational excellence, I'll tell you, it relates to each one of us for all the activities which we are doing in our own respective scope of work. Every activity, whether it is HR or it is administration or it is sales or you name it, anything, and it is having operational excellence.
Okay, operations and quality I can understand, but what about the sales people who are mainly in the staff, whose job and main responsibility is only to get the number? How they can get aligned with the philosophy of operational excellence?
The sales staff for any organization, not just for Morepen, for any organization, they are the walkie-talkie of brand.
Exactly.
Okay, they carry the brand to all your customers, to the doctors in our case, to the institutions, to different regulatory agencies. Okay, so any sales staff who is in the field, while he is entering a doctor's cabin, for example, it's not just he has to bring in certain numbers, but the way he is entering, the way he is carrying himself, the way he is dressing, the way he is carrying his bag, unlocking the laptop, showing the product, okay, or is explaining about the product, everything matters.
The technical know-how.
The technical know-how, because sometimes it happens if the customer is asking some questions related to technicals, and then the sales staff is just acting as a postman for that query, okay, that will make you a little delayed from the customer, okay, you may lose, okay. But if that salesperson is having that basic technical know-how about that product, which he can convey the very that moment, okay, that will bring in the excellence in his duty, okay. For example, the USP of his product, for example, the competitors related information, or how he stands different from what he has been doing in past, okay, everything, that all small nuances is basically excellence, okay. Okay, I'll ask one question from you now, Poonam. Have you got excellent during your school days anytime
Sometimes,
in your copy?
yeah, sometimes, but not every day.
So what was different from your other classmates?
Maybe the handwriting, maybe I was underlying the main subject, or the taglines, or maybe I have done something extra, little bit extra.
Normally we give the same answer which what teacher has said,
Exactly.
but the few of our classmates used to get excellent and rest all good, or maybe not even good. So excellence is something which is in each one of us, including the drivers, the office boys, the catering boys, everyone. I'll tell you, a driver, if he is going to airport to pick up a lady guest, okay, and it happens that he is not greeting that girl, okay, that lady, that's again not excellence, okay. He is doing good job, he is doing his fair job, that he has gone on time, he reached on time, he has opened the door, okay, but he has not greeted, okay. So that's a good job, but not an excellent. So anything which is over and above good can be considered as excellence.
Okay.
When he is driving the car, is he using phone, is he taking care of the traffic lights, is he very clear on his driving, not participating in the back seat conversations? So all those small nuances make your good job an excellent job. And believe me, Poonam, we as in Morepen are already doing a good job, okay.
Yes.
But as launched on the 1st of January 2024, we really need to grow up from good to excellent. And that is where I say each one of us, if bring in excellence, we will start directly adding to the bottom line.
So you, ma'am, tell me one thing. You have explained about the excellence, about the sales staff, about the admin, operations people. What about the security guard who is standing just outside a gate and counting numbers only, just who is doing in and out of people? How he can contribute to the bottom line?
See, so the security guard is doing a good job till the time he is counting the numbers properly. He is fairly reporting. He is checking if something which is not authorized is going out and making an action on it. That's a good job. But to be excellent, if he starts taking care whether the person has handed over the last shift information to the current shift or not, okay, or has he given the critical information to the manager or not. For example, the A shift people who are in plant, they can leave the site at 3 o'clock as per their shift schedule. But if the same person is leaving at 3:15 after giving each and every information related to shift to the next shift, that makes his job from good to excellent.
But do you think that is the responsibility of a security guard, or it's the responsibility of the shop or managers who are actually on the shop floor?
See, managers or supervisors, when I say not by designation, but the people who are in charge of a certain area, certain section, certain time, task, okay, all these people, they are accountable, and they are supposed to make protocols, procedures, checklist for each and every activity which is in their scope, okay. Now what happens when there is a system made, manager takes that according to the system, not according to the person, then what happens? By default, things fall in place.
Exactly.
Okay. And if there is a deviation, it can be handled thoroughly. And that is where we call that any organization only grows if the managerial effectiveness is there. The managerial cadre or the supervisory cadre is very effective in getting the things done, getting the situations handled in a right way, in a right protocol. So managerial effectiveness is one thing which will make all your systems in place as in HR. So HR has to be very instrumental in ensuring that these systems are in place.
But how to check that managerial effectiveness?
Managerial effectiveness, yes, it's something which is very intangible in nature, but tangible, if you want to see all kind of situations, whether it is adverse or it is somewhat normal, the way it is being handled. For example, if you ask me the tangible things, the SMTs, the self-managed teams, okay, that's a clear indication of, you can say, managerial effectiveness. The number of participations which people do, or the manager involves his down the line team members in any kind of improvement plan, in any kind of implementation, keep them updated about the organization target, about the related regulatory information, okay, making sure that the team members are thoroughly trained for whatever they are doing, all the safety norms are being followed. These all things make the managerial activities very effective in line with the organizational requirements.
Do you think that some kind of empowerment is also required at that level?
Right, because empowerment, Poonam, I'll tell you as a word, it seems like somebody, until and unless give you in black and white written, you are not empowered. No.
Yeah.
Empowerment is in sense of belongingness also. Once you start feeling that this is my job, this is my work. For example, if I tell Poonam, tomorrow there is an event to be organized, kindly take a charge of this. So you will make sure, if you are accountable, what you will do, you will make sure that all the nuances of that events are being taken care properly within the cost, quality and everything. Whereas if you don't take that accountability, okay, what will happen? You will only do the task to a certain level required. It will not bring in excellence.
Very true.
Okay, so you will complete your responsibility, but not with accountability. But if you feel that yes, you are accountable for that, okay, if I make you feel that you are accountable for that, that itself will empower you to do the things in a right way and in a cost effective way, okay, with all safety things.
You know, one of the aspect of HR is the talent pool. So what are your views and vision for the talent pool and human capital in the organization?
Talent is the most important vertical for any HR function, and having inbuilt talent from within the system is the HR efficiency. Okay, buying is very easy.
Yes,
you can get a lateral entry of talent anytime with all your cost, okay, but building in the talent within the system is an process oriented approach, okay, which will build up not only your talent pool but your capability to cater future. Okay, any person coming from outside will take its due course for adaptability, to understand the systems, to get accepted within the system. But if the talent is developed within the same set of people through not just training but also through job rotation, by job shadowing, through KRA sharing, that will empower the people within the team to make sure that they are developing. Okay, so individual development plan, which is a very mandate part of any PMS, individual development plan, if is aligned with the business future requirement, that by default will make a channel of talent. So within next 2 to 3 years, next 5 to 7 years, next 7 to 10 years, you know what kind of a talent is required and you start building within the team. I'll take a very simple example. You are ensuring your son is doing well in studies, right?
Yes.
You make sure he studies, he gives time to his studies. Wherever required, he takes additional books. Wherever required, he takes tuitions and all those things, so that he can get good marks. Okay. Now tell me, is that sufficient? Oh, no. Sometimes you give him the normal social lessons also. What is good, what is not good. What are your rituals, what are your religious books, okay, what are the critical situations which the family has faced in past. You share all those informations, and that way you are trying to build your son in a way that he becomes a good citizen of the country, a reliable person in the family, okay, a respected person in the society. So an holistic way of grooming a child is the approach which is required even in the organization. So the senior leadership team, if starts taking this as an onus, that people who are in the team of that individual also gets an holistic grooming regarding that department, regarding that function, regarding the peripheral subjects. By the system approach, this will lead it in next 2 to 7 years or 5 years or 10 years, you will find that you are building from within.
I think the identification of talent pool, then their proper systematic plan is required.
Very important.
Then the execution of that
Correct.
plan.
It starts from, in fact, identifying the critical roles. Okay, which are the roles, which are the positions, which are the talent, which are critical to the business. When I say critical, that if that position holder or that incumbent, the present incumbent, is not doing as per the requirement, as per the competency required, then your business is directly getting affected. That's the critical role or the critical positions. Okay, now if the same incumbent, one way is you have a second in line person or somebody in the team who could take on to that additional role, or the other way is you start developing that person if you have that kind of a time. Okay, but until unless you identify those criticalities and then make a gap assessment from the competency and then accordingly build up a development plan. Okay, and I will again emphasize the same thing, Poonam, that individual development plan, until and unless is aligned with the business vision and requirement, that will be in half job done by HR.
Exactly. You talked about capability building. So how do we ensure that is actually being built up in the company?
Organizations, or in fact the complete industry, is moving to the next level of
Very true.
So we are moving towards digital world thoroughly. Even the cash things, if you go in the market, you will hardly find somebody who is taking or giving cash. Paytm and everything, even the street hawkers, they are using the Paytms. So the digitalization is moving up. The industry is moving from normal level to the industry 4.0, what we call it, where even AI is playing a very important role. Okay, and I'll give a very small example related to this. We are having preventive maintenance and breakdown maintenance thing, isn't it? But I'm sure viewers will agree that the industries are moving towards predictive maintenance.
Yes.
So my engineering team or my other engineering maintenance guys, if they are just sound in their engineering knowledge, that's not sufficient. Okay, they have to be very sound in analysis of the data which is coming from the breakdown or which is coming from the OE. Okay, so that they can understand the predictive part of it, and you have a plan for the predictive maintenance.
The future readiness.
That's what I'm saying. If you are ready for the future, if you can predict that okay, this can go on a breakdown, that will make you ready for it.
So similarly, I think we have to predict in other departments also that what can be the future norm, and we should be ready for that. Yes.
So now, for example, regulatory agencies are now directly interacting with the shop floor guys, asking that who is the person who is the doer must enter the data directly.
Yeah.
Okay, the live. Okay, now if we build up the capability of our shop floor guys to do and fill in the BPR accordingly, or whether it is manual or digital, whatever. So this kind of capability building is required for the future readiness again, right from the shop floor level till top talent level.
I have heard in one of your interviews, you mentioned that an engaged workforce is an asset for the organization. So that's very true. So what are the basic indicators of an engaged workforce?
I really believe in this because as an HR, we are custodian of people.
Yeah, true.
And when we call for 5M of any business, starting from money, material, method, machine, man is one of the important pillar. So it's again asset, and that's the reason we call it manpower, or we call it human capital. Okay, because you capitalize it, you take an output out of it, you earn out of it. So if you don't cater the requirement of the people, which is a biology, it is so much driven through emotions, so much driven through the things which are going in the outside world. So if it is not engaged, if they don't engage with your process, they are not an important part of your value chain. Okay, it will always be something which is not 100% capitalized. And if you count about if you talk about the indicators of employees, whether engaged or not, apart from that, survey and other things, the very real indicators, I'll tell you, the number of kaizens you are receiving, the number of suggestions which you receive, the number of continuous improvement projects which are going on in the organization, the number of additional information which you receive for a better product input or for a better market input. This all counts as the engaged workforce. Okay, I'll take you to a situation when normally times when we find some disasters or some road blockage or some kind, really at the time of COVID also, you were running the plant with 1/3 of the resources.
Exactly.
People were not able to come from the other state and all. So that 1/3 of resources were giving 100% of output. They were living in the plant, they were operating, they were taking that risk of giving that output. So what is this? This is a clear indicator of that you have an engaged workforce.
And I think for that motivation is also required.
Yes, of course.
Motivation, rewards, recognition.
And not only the rewards in terms of money. Sometimes a simple pat while going on the floor will also act
on the spot.
It will act a big thing for the individual. On the spot recognition, giving a credit, okay, understanding their reason of the mistakes, not just penalizing for every mistake, but understanding why this mistake is happening, grooming that individual or that set of individuals to take them to a level of not doing such mistakes or repeating such mistakes. All those things will make the workforce an engaged one. It's not that you spend on welfare or you give a higher level of increment, or you do sometimes even stretching the target and making them feel that they can do that. That's also an engagement.
Yes, very true. Yeah. You see, one personal question, ma'am. Whenever like I draft some policy or SOP or anything, I come to you. You always say, Poonam, try to make it simple, as we have to go for the culture of simplicity. So I want to understand, what is this culture of simplicity?
Yeah, I believe in simplicity for one reason, that the world is moving towards lean now.
Lean means thin.
Lean means thin, but in terms of organization, when we call it, reducing down the hierarchy level. Okay, making the DOP very clear, delegation of power, making decision making faster, okay, so that you don't lose business, you don't lose market. We are into pharma world, that time counts a lot for us. Even in cricket, if you see, now nobody is having so much of time to watch for 50 overs of
even nobody watch the test match
and all. People are moving towards now, okay, T20 ठीक है, देख लेते हैं, चलेगा. So they enjoy. So even entertainment has become on the faster level, and that is the reason agility counts a lot for the business. Okay, pharma world, agility is religion.
Yes.
If you are not agile, you can't survive, you can't sustain. So that's the reason I always say. Second reason for asking you always to be simpler in the things is that the more you are simple, direct, connected, lesser the chances of ambiguities.
Yes, the duplication of work also.
Because that counts lot of confusions, okay, and then repeatedness, and we cannot afford being into pharma. So simpler, clear, and easy to understand, things always work.
What do you think? What should we do to improve ESG? Because now sustainability is not a choice; it's a mandate for the future companies.
As an organization, as industry, we owe towards environment and society. More the reason we have to have very clear, structured approach, systems in place, compliances in place, and it should be not considered as just an event or just an documentation or just an way of handling documents and all. It's more related to your practices. It's more related to your belief systems. Unnecessarily taking printout, okay, or using your draft documents on the fresh paper. Even these things count. So the consciousness level on environment protection or being sustainable towards your approaches of operations is very important. Whether it is fuel for your boiler, whether it is usage of stationaries, consumables.
You mean to say that use of natural resources.
Use of renewable resources. Then at the same time, being in HR, again I will focus on my part of it. Then I say the chapter 3 of Factory Act.
Yes.
Where you are directly liable for your health and safety of your people. Okay, so we do that kind of and lot of work which helps to take care of the safety or the health of people. But health is limited to only physical vital records, whereas ESG demands for mental wellness. If you are trying to be ready for future, believe me, just being physically well is not going to help you. You have to be mentally sound, mentally in peace to work and be productive. how organization can help people to be mentally into peace is by improving the culture, improving the connect with individual, understanding their problems, talking to them. In the digital world, actually we have lost the connect, the personal touch.
Yes.
So that is something which is required. So when I talk about ESG, I will not talk about the different checklist or the different compliances which you need to complete, but as an HR, as a leadership team, the connect is very important.
Okay.
To be sustaining. The use of information is very important to sustain. To change to the new system or adapt to the new forte is very important.
In ESG, there's a chapter of diversity and inclusion also. So what do you think, what are the steps as a Morepen we should take in order to improve for diversity and inclusion?
Here I am feeling a little pride, I must say, Poonam, because other industries are making lot of efforts to have good record in DNI. But I think Morepen, even before DNI was a word or a buzz, they were already into DNI.
Yes.
Okay. So few of our senior level positions I think is occupied for long with the female colleagues, and that shows that our organization is having a philosophy of believing in diverse culture.
Yes, ma'am, you're absolutely correct. Like biggest example is Amita ma'am, who is with us for the last more than 30 years. And we are very fortunate that we are part of Morepen because the management has given us such a wonderful platform like Bubble Chat, where we can discuss and express our views.
Correct.
Right now, 2 females are sitting and we are discussing. So I think this is the biggest platform of DNI.
See, DNI is now the national demand. It's being talked at the top level in politics or in government or everywhere. In industry, it is something which has already been in. Even the KRA of the top leadership team holds good weightage for DNI ratio. Making our workplace to invite that inclusion is also very important. Current data, if I see, we are somewhere around 10 to 20% in few of our departments, which is there for the direct workplace. But inclusion, we still need to work a lot.
Yeah, when we talk about like female gender diversity is okay, but what about that LGBTQ? When we talk about the LGBTQ, so what are the steps? What can we do in order to promote LGBTQ in our company?
Acceptance.
Yes,
that's the word.
Yeah.
We have to accept that yes, this is there, not looking at that individual or that applicant with a different eye, or just talking about it, oh, he is something different, or she is oh, I don't know whether to call he or she. So that should not be there. You have to accept that. We have to accept that yes, this is a gender. We have to make place for it.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think basic awareness, or can we do at the time of recruitment, when we fill in an employment form, there are only 2 options under gender disclosure, male or female. So can we do others column also?
Yeah, I think that should. I think that's a good point, Poonam. It should be included. That should be the first step, in fact, to say that yes, we accept.
We accept.
And again, I'll talk more on the inclusion part, because diversity, I don't find this organization is having a challenge. There is already an acceptance towards diverse culture at every level.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yes, we can always improve it by any means. At the same time, I must say we have to work on the inclusion part.
So what about that differently abled people? How can we include in those people in our company?
Being pharma industry, manufacturing especially, when I talk, there is certain requirement, but that doesn't restrict us from having inclusion. I'll give you my own example. I did my internship in Tata Steel, Jamshedpur, and that was way back in '99. So in Tata's, my supervisor, the mentor under whom I was doing my internship, he wasn't 100% blind.
Oh,
okay. But I never felt that. I never felt that gap.
Okay, that was 25 years back.
That time even we were not talking about DNI.
Yes.
If I remember correct. Okay. So making your infrastructure to invite inclusion from differently able people is something where we need to do. For example, having washrooms for the differently able, having what you can say, that sliders for on the stairs. Okay, all your safety instructions, all your important informations in braille. So all those things will make you make the others feel that you are open for the inclusion, for the different type of diversity.
Very true, ma'am.
Okay, and that's not a difficult job, what I can say.
Yeah, I think for us Morepen, it's
Yes,
not a difficult
yes.
job. We are already doing so many things. I think
Yeah.
we have to take a little bit step further.
Yeah, you can always assign certain profiles or certain roles where you can have differently able people. Once it is, for example, even the government puts quota to certain sections. So why can't we have certain quota dedicated for inclusion?
Maybe we cannot depute them in the manufacturing processes, but we can depute them in admin area or other. It's a world of digitization. Very important to cope up with the things. So what are your views on digitization for every process in the company? Maybe HR, maybe service departments, maybe production, maybe quality.
So digitalization is something, as ESG, it is no more a choice.
Yes.
You have to go for it. Okay, whether it is operations, market, customers, HR, everything. As far as HR is concerned, I'll say I am feeling very lucky to be a part of the digitalization project which is going on. This will help us to sync with all the functions. Okay, and HR process itself, when the more you are digitalized, you will be more accurate. You will be more in a place to understand the data of it. You will be having lesser of biasness. You will be more tangible in talking about HR process. So digitalization is always good, but at the same time, one thing which I always appreciate, I say that digitalization should not take away the human touch.
One of the important aspect of digitization is PMS also. Like in PMS, we used to do everything on the hard copies. There were personal one-to-one discussion. So when we go for the digitization, what do you think that how we are going to adapt for this new norm?
PMS, performance management system, see, earlier we were having in papers, many of the organizations, they have moved on to an online monitoring, but nothing can take away the value of personal interaction. As I said, all over places, whenever I have talked about PMS, I say the highest weightage should be given to the personal interaction. At the second level, I say that KRAs or KPIs or the task and goals, all those things, until and unless it is directly aligned with the business requirement or the business vision. I will not use the term target, because target can change.
Yes, every
target can change
anytime.
Okay, so let us not use the word target, but I will say always the vision. Until and unless it is directly linked with the vision, a shop floor person who is charging batch, how he is what level of contribution he is doing to the business, that is very important. And believe me, there is a system. For example, in one of my organization, what we did, we started with the business head target. That was cascaded down to the plants and the market and the R&D and PD and everybody. Later on, if I narrow it down only to plant, then the plant head target, the different blocks target, then it comes to shift in charges, daily routine task targets, going down operators target. So what is the number of batches he is charging, what is the number of drum he is moving from one place to other, what is the number of stages he has moved to the next place, what is the number of layer separations he has done, till that level it goes down. And then after the day end, I mean the shift once over, the same operator put in the data, okay, I have done this, it's done. When you add all the operators data, that should count to the output of that block for the day.
So okay, it's same like strategy cascading.
Correct. And same, the activity strategy is cascaded to the task and goals,
yes,
and it will reach to the shop floor level. Similarly, once you from bottom to up, the performance goes from bottom to upwards.
Very true.
Target comes from top to bottom, but the performance goes from bottom to up. So this is where the digital world will help us a lot. Yes. On paper, it was difficult to monitor on the daily basis or on the monthly basis. We used to sit at the end of the year and count, okay, this is done by you, this is done by you, why this was not done. But digital world has helped us to monitor these things even on the daily basis. So digitalization is a blessing, but we have to make our people capable. The existing people who are your asset, who are loyal to the organization, give focus to building the knowledge level, to upgrade their understanding on the new normals and take the output from those aspects. Rather just always buying from outside, it is always good to improvise the system within and then make people learn, train, give them chances to do mistakes, accept it, and make sure that the same mistake is not repeated.
Yes, very true. So as you are an artist, and you love to play with your colors, with your charcoal on the canvas. So what is your favorite theme with which you want to love, which you want to play again and again on the canvas?
Emotions.
Okay.
I always try bringing emotions in my paintings.
Okay. How do you get time for that? Like, you are a working woman, you are a mother, you are a painter also. So how do you manage all these things in your day-to-day life?
See, we all have 24 hours.
Yes.
There is nobody in the world who is having 25 hours. Only thing which helps us, I'll not use the word time management because it's very common, everybody does that. But what helps me is that whenever I am into a role, I am 100% into that role. So whenever I am a mother to my son, I am 100% mother. Then I am not mixing it with as an HR manager. Or whenever I am sitting in as an HR manager or as an HR person, then I am 100% HR manager. Then I am not talking about my motherly affections and all those things. I am not talking about my painting thing. When I am painting, I am 100% painter. I am not holding any other designation. Okay, so being 100% what you are doing at that moment is very important. So that will give you or help you rather to give your output best from that role.
Okay.
So if I mix my painting thing into HR or HR thing into mother or mother thing into a wife or a friend, everything will be a chaos. So it's better to be very clear what role, what time and what output is required.
Coming from the delegation, many people say, oh, delegation, isse nahi hoga. This to I have to do only. Isse nahi hoga, usse nahi hoga. Otherwise mistakes ho jayega. So how to deal with that mindset?
You will have to groom them to come to that level, first thing. Secondly, give them that basic understanding ki mere ko chahiye kya. At the same time, you also have to be prepared to take the mistakes.
Yes.
From the team. Okay, it is always not necessary that your team will be excellent performer. So sometimes if somebody from the team is doing a mistake or is not able to do to that level of excellence what you are expecting, then you have to fine tune it before sending it further, or you have to make sure that next time he comes with a next better version of it. Okay, so this is a continuous effort. This is not something which will happen in one day or 1 year. This is a continuous effort which you have to put into the team member. The way we do to our children. It's something of that type.
Yes. So capability building, empowerment, delegation,
everything
they have to go hand in hand.
Hand in hand.
So thank you so much everyone for joining us, and we will see you next time. We'll come up with a next episode with some new topic.